I've gotten a lot of questions on yesterday's video. Today, I'm going to talk about why Texas. Hello everyone, Semiretiredbob here, your off-grid carnivore. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, miscellaneous odds and ends, and don't forget to join me on my journey as I prepare to move off-grid down in Texas. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for stopping by. What you're watching right now is you're watching me walk. I know that doesn't seem really exciting, but a little over 2 years ago, I couldn't do this. I could barely stand for a couple of minutes without severe pain. Now I'm out here walking every day. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. I'm glad you're here as well. It means a lot to me that you choose to spend just a few moments of your day with me. I'd like to ask you all to help me out just a little bit. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Drop down in the comments and say hi, Bob. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. All these little things that are absolutely free help me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. I am 61 years old, and I'm doing things I couldn't do when I was 40. For those of you that have been following for a little while, I am going up that hill right now, walking faster, trying to push myself so that eventually I can sprint up this hill, or at least jog a little bit. This is your quick reminder. I'm going to say this probably every day. As you're adding new exercises to your program, take it slow and easy. You don't want to injure yourself. I'm going to add just a little bit higher pace. See if I can't push just a little bit more, because I'm almost to the top. Today I thought we'd take a big walk around the big block, since it's such a beautiful day out here. All about 67 degrees right now, which is nice. And then as soon as I get up here and can slow down a little bit to where I can talk to you again, we'll talk about Texas. Whew. Okay. You just remember, all of this has been made possible by the carnivore diet. Okay. Now I'm up at that stop sign where I normally turn around and go back down the hill. But we're going to go down the hill this way. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I pushed just a little bit harder. Oh. They've trimmed back that tree that was hanging over the sidewalk there. And it's going to get noisy here for a little bit. So there's going to be a little skip in the video, but let's go ahead and talk about Texas. Like I said, I got the question, why Texas? There were a lot of things that went into it. I was originally thinking Arizona, but for those of you that watch a lot of YouTube, like I do, you'll notice in the last 2-3 years, moving to the desert of Arizona has become very popular. So consequently, the cost of land in Arizona has been going up. Not horribly, but I got 10 acres in West Texas for what I could have gotten, depending on the area, between 2 and 3 acres in Arizona. And I decided, I'm not sure why I settled on 10, but I decided I wanted at least 10 acres. And of course, I didn't get 10 acres in Hawaii because I can't afford that. And I can't afford most of the good places to buy land. So after ruling out Arizona, the two places that I was looking at from the land broker that I used it came down to between Texas and Nevada, because as you know, Nevada has a lot of desert, and both Texas and Nevada have some of the same kinds of, I'm just noticing it looks like they've been through here and taken away the brush piles. So perhaps my big brush pile will go away sometime soon. But anyway, Nevada and Texas, both very similar. Both are desert. Desert doesn't mean hot. Desert means dry. And I chose Texas because either way I was going to have to build a rain roof and harvest rainwater so that hopefully a few years from now I can survive off just rainwater rather than having to have some hauled in. And the prices were very similar. I, of course, first had to make the decision, did I want the warmer climate of the West Texas desert where I'm at, or I could have gotten a big chunk of land. There was a 10-acre plot up near Elko, Nevada, that I was looking at. And it was actually a hair cheaper. Both of the plots were less than $10,000. But the one up in Elko was a little bit cheaper. The two things that kept me from buying that land, of course, the climate. It snows up there by Elko a lot. That didn't scare me off nearly as much as the water. I didn't investigate it thoroughly, but in what I was reading, Nevada has these goofy laws on how much rainwater you're allowed to collect. And it's based on how many people are living on the property. Now, where it goes from there, I don't know exactly. But in looking at the Texas laws where I'm at, there is no regulation of any kind. In Texas, if the rain lands on your property and you find a way to collect it, it's yours. And that extends on into the main differences between Texas and a lot of other places. Texas still operates, especially out where I'm at, where it's your land, do with it what you want. Now, am I going to put a septic system in? Yes. But out where I'm at with zero regulations in the West Texas desert, I wouldn't necessarily have to. Now, I'm probably going to go with an Arizona style 2 50-gallon bucket pit toilet. But if you want to know more about how to do that, you can find all that stuff out for yourself. But that's really why I chose. I'm catching up to someone again. We must just be going around the other way. I know it's the same person because she's got that big, beautiful dog with her. But yeah, it's any place else you go, there's always regulations to follow. And Culberson County, that's the name of the county I'm in. I'm not in El Paso County, I'm in Culberson County. The county seat is Van Horn, Texas. But the regulations, I'm sure when I finally get into Van Horn and talk to the people at the courthouse, there's going to be some kind of regulation. But in Texas, they're not nearly as restrictive as many other places. So we'll see how that goes. But that's why I chose the desert of Texas. Between the location and the water rights and all of the other non-regulations, it just seemed that Texas was a much more friendly place to try and figure out how to do a homesteading thing and living off grid, as opposed to anywhere else, within the prices I could afford. There are some other very friendly states out there for homesteading. And not that it matters to me, because there's no grid for me to plug into. That's the one statewide regulation in Texas that, you know, so many places when you live in town, you have to be plugged into the grid in town, whether it be sewer, water, electricity, whatever. In Texas, there's a law that says you cannot force people. The local governments aren't allowed to write regulations that force people into buying their utilities. You could live in the middle of El Paso and be completely off grid if you have enough land to support it. The problem with that, of course, is it's hard. If you're on a standard in-town plot, it's hard to collect enough rainwater to get yourself completely off the grid. And if there was a water line to my property, that's probably the one thing I would pay for, because I've got a lot of construction planned on rain roofs and cisterns and ponds and all that kind of stuff. Ways to capture the water and ways to store the water. And we'll get more into that later. But for today, I think I've talked enough. I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around, because some of you that are newer to the channel won't have seen this before. And I'll flip the camera around and let you watch the sidewalk ahead of me as I head for home. And I'll have some more thoughts, my carnivore thought for the day, when I get back to the house. For now, let's go ahead and cue the music. Thank you. Yeah, some of the things I didn't really talk about yesterday in my 2 years walking video that I meant to cover. And I've said this before, this is nothing new, but when you're on a carnivore diet, you don't have to exercise to lose fat. You don't even have to exercise to put on a little bit of muscle. Fueling your body correctly will take care of both of those things for you. But getting functional movement in, as Coach Bronson calls it, learning to do the movements you want to do will help you throughout the rest of your life. Because most of us at my age, we're not trying to get buff. We're not trying to get to the point where we can go to the beach and take our shirts off and flex. Or if you're a girl, you're probably not looking for a bikini body. If you are, that's great. There's nothing wrong with it. But most of us are probably not doing that. What we're more interested in is being able to do the movements that will help us in our everyday life moving forward. So I think everybody that does a carnivore diet will eventually want to do some movement. It's just a question of when and how much. And remember, as you add more stuff in, go slowly so you don't actually injure yourself. But I think that's what I've got for you today, folks. Hopefully, some of what I said today made sense. Hopefully those of you that are new looking for my off-grid stuff found why I chose to go to Texas helpful if you haven't bought your property yet. Tomorrow, I think we're going to talk about insulation, because I had a question about how do you plan on insulating that shipping container and what are you going to do about condensation and mold. I got some good ideas on that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Don't forget, get out there, be 1% better today, tomorrow, every day. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you in the next one.